Hey, good morning, everybody. Well, we got more noise to deal with. A lot of news. Um, just doesn't seem to stop. But anyway, so part of what I looked at over the weekend, and I said everything is bullish. Dow, transports, Russell, other things making new all-time highs. So, um, the assumption is, with the trends being up, new all-time highs, going to continue to go that way. And whether the 10% cap on credit cards, can the government do that? I don't know. I mean, you sit there wondering, how far can the government's reach go? Now the stuff with Powell and the Fed, DOJ involvement, of course, Venezuela, which is passed, and all the other stuff that's going on. So you can see the futures there, reversing Friday's up move to a slight little new all-time high. And of course, not today, this week is options expiration. You got bank earnings coming out, there's economic reports. So there's probably going to be a lot of wiggles. And overall, of course, as we always do on a day-to-day basis, where do we end the day? At the end of the week, where do we end of the week? And where is that in context of the overall trend in multiple time frames? So there's been a lot of choppy price action. As you can see, a lot of overlapping bars, that slowly is grinding higher. There's a lot of open interest up at 7,000. And certainly on Friday's price action, it looked like it was going there, and it just might this week. I mean, the S&Ps. So gapping down onto support. So it's not all that bad as far as a violation of the trend. We'll see if it can bounce from here, or whether it's going to make a next dive. You can see down below here, there's a little bit of a void down below. And this prior low now becomes major support. And we look at all the other indices with stocks, what have you, in the same way. When something pushes up above the prior high, it doesn't have to be a new all-time high. The swing low, the pivot, becomes major support. And a violation of that on a closing basis violates the uptrend. Now, we don't need, as you know, I always say we don't need to connect the dots, do one of these or whatever, depending on how you do it. People do this, go like that, and see if it violates that. Our approach is to look to the left, and this little bottoming tail bar you can see is a whole bunch of pivots on the 65-minute time frame. So that's where it's holding. And the deeper it goes toward here, if that's in the cards, the more the trend becomes in question. Common sense. So S&P's reversing Friday's up move, starting out on a bearish note. Weekly is in an uptrend with a lot of messy overlapping bars. So this market continues to deal with what it was dealing with at the end of last year: uncertainty and volatility. Deeper moves, they're going to buy the dip. There's still a belief the market will go higher, and that's based on the trend and this consolidation that occurred from November into the middle of December. It supports that. But let me just show you the difference between a market that is this one, where further back, same market, of course. This one, while it still had lots of whips back and forth, you can see the difference in the size of the bars and ranges and distance between these swing highs and swing lows. So the uncertainty has grown tremendously. In this part of the price action, let's see here, I guess it's this. You can see, I wanted to just draw from, here we go. Switched to using this all the time from e-signal a few months ago, and I'm still not used to everything in it. What I wanted to show you is Here the distance between the pivot highs are substantially smaller than what it was over here. So we call that, beginning to tighten up a little bit more certainty versus what was going over here. And again, I'm not going to do this on all the charts, but you could apply it the same thing. Now over here, it begins to tighten up a little bit more. So a growing confidence that it can continue to go up. So what's going on, today and last week, Venezuela, now the Fed. I mean, I even hear the news. It talks about Greenland. It's just craziness. It seems to me things are tightening up, which means more confidence that it could go higher. And when it's really tight, that's where breakouts work. And it's not quite that tight yet. And as I already mentioned, it's an options expiration week. So what we want to see, I know what I want to see, and I can tell you, of course, ideally, whatever happens based on the noise, and so far that's all it is, ideally, there'll be buyers at 6,900, whole number, if it should get down there. And, always the whole numbers, you want to keep an eye on those in SPX and even the half numbers. So just eyeballing that around the 6850. And then, of course, there's that pivot right there. So, factory work, as we call it, prior bar's low. There's a little poke bar, which is the consolidation on the hourly, which it's holding for now. So we start the day with a trading range with a gap down and a wait and see as to what's going to unfold here, at least in the first few minutes to half hour. All right. NASDAQ was shaping up. Last week, we discussed how this was, contracting and the volatility contracting and coiling the spring, sometimes we say, where it would break out. But I also mentioned that we always look to the left and it was up against the pivot. And so now it's a down day. It's not breaking below the prior bar's low. So for the moment, let's just call it noise within a sideways trading range. And I'll take a look at the ETFs. That's the S&P. There's the Dow. New all-time highs, chopping back and forth. So whatever the TV has to say, this thing is just consolidating the gain for the moment. It's in an uptrend, and unless it comes down here in a meaningful way, that's all it is noise. And the Russell made new all-time highs. So you can see the up and down whipsaw action, down all the way back up. Well, it's kind of insane, but it is what it is, versus you can see back here, a much more controlled environment displaying confidence. And then that confidence goes away, the holidays, and right back up again. So, all right. Bitcoin, and well, let's look at oil. That's not doing anything. It bounced up here. You would think, more Venezuela oil would go down, but reading about that, it's going to take forever, years to get that under control. Bitcoin, maybe it's making the turn. I mentioned in our weekend letter that this part of the price action here, if it was an uptrend, you could be much more confident in a turn. So when we look at patterns, you have to put them in the context of what preceded it. And when we see a momentum move like this coming out of a consolidation and then a pullback toward where it broke out from, there's going to be buyers there. And so far, it just can't get going. So it bumped its head on that resistance. So it forms a bit of a trading range. It's pulled back here, and we're watching to see if it can turn higher. More noise. Same thing with Ethereum, just more noise. So The thing is not to get chopped up in this stuff and keep your head about you and waiting for things to tighten up. Yeah. Gold is making new all-time highs, as you can see. And that whip down, which here it just recovered immediately. So that is a little unusual to recover immediately after such a big down day, but there it is, new all-time highs, and probably the uncertainty about what's going on is helping that move up. Silver, new all-time highs. It's amazing. So I'm just, again, you can see the difference between a market, whether it's silver or whether it's XYZ, how it moves up with more certainty and confidence, where buyers are in control versus uncertainty, and it's recovered from that. Okay. Look at SPY and the new all-time highs. Chop, chop, chop. Same story there. As SPX. I drew this to show how the not uncertainty, just the volatility or the contraction between supply and demand is coming together again in a different way versus, I guess you call this a ascending triangle. And you got your new major support down here, like we looked at. And so there's no overhead resistance. You got again whole numbers, and there's 7,000 expiring this week. You got the largest open interest in puts and calls, but this is now gapping down here. So for the not most part, for the moment, it's negating that bar to gap down there within an uptrend. Same story, noise. So can it get back up here today? Of course it could. I think that is unlikely unless some new news comes out. Unless Visa gapping down. What's going on with those? It's crazy. Crazy is keep an eye on 6,900. It's not a pivot, but a little poke kind of bar there, breaking under those lows. It'll never become a pivot because this bar, based on the three bars to the left and right, making higher lows because this bar is lower. Nonetheless, we know in a smaller time frame there's a pivot there. So it's gapping down here onto support. See what it does. And what are interest rates doing here? A lot of nothing. More noise. It is what it is. We'll see what stocks are moving, but for right now, the markets are just like, what the hell is going to come next? And trend is up. We just wait for things to settle down. That's all we can do. So let me just, before I hand it over to Dan, look at this weekly chart, because the end of last year, we were talking about this bottoming action, and this did clear these highs slightly. And look, we want to see if this goes up, whatever's going on, we look at different markets for a heads up. So you want to have an alert up here to see if this clears these highs. If this starts going up, that is going to be a negative for the broader market. So as much as we have, use the analogy, everything firing on all cylinders, Dow up, new highs, transports, Russell, S&Ps, NASDAQ lagging, of course, because of, the Magnificent Seven, not so magnificent, but look, that's gapping down a little bit, but not gapping significantly. So we're in a kind of a holding period as to whether these markets are going to be able to move with some conviction versus these wiggles. To you, Dan. A lot of crazy moves, different sectors based on news.
we had a ton of bullish ideas in the weekend letter, but let's go through my alarms like always. Monday, I'm busy going over opens, new trades. And as I say, whenever there's a gap against our pending trades, as a general rule, I say, that's fine. I don't care. Because if they trigger in light of the bearish market gap, then the pattern's better. So I don't even care about looking at the longs right now, unless an alarm went off, obviously. And Gulf Hotel. This is a beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4 bullish weekly. I actually missed it over the weekend, so I just posted it pre-market. Let's see what Thomas has. Walking. Yeah, closing breakout, sure. It's a little spotty light volume though. Whenever you see spots on the 15, I immediately just go down and look at volume, 110 grams. But that's our CHWR. Maybe you mean sure, CHRW? Is it trucker? Yeah, you must mean this one. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, trucker. All-time highs. Looks good. Put it on the list. All right, so Golf Hotel alarm went off. Lulu. I think I had an upgrade or something, some positive news, but I have this as a call spread idea. Hold on, let me type to our subscribers. But yeah, Lulu's a call spread idea. eBay must be a false alarm. I don't know why that went on. But we're in this. We've been in it since that breakout last week. And then it just went sideways. But we're in it. Nothing to do. Upstart. Now this is a bull rectangle. The entry would be Friday's high, because then it'd be a little red bar ignored. So I had an alarm at 50-40. It looks like that one will poke. Set my alarm off. Paul, we're in trail mode in the advisory letter. Gold. We have a full position in our ETF letter. And I just sent out telegrams saying, you know what, let's just make 430 first third target. I was tempted to sell third pre-market. We'll see what it does. Try to squeeze out a little more. Neo looks great. Another 1, 2, 3, 4 closing breakout. That looks great. Well, the futures pre-market are amazing. It was pretty much going sideways here after the gap down. Not much movement. CDE, I had this as a direction on the weekend letter, but I had to cancel it. Excessive gap. CDE. Firm. It's a bull rectangle. Bull rectangle. Flagpole rectangle holding the upper 80% of this. That looks great. My alarm went off pre-market at 80. I'm just going to reset the alarm. I have it in a little window here. Set the alarm at 80. This actually went up on the credit card stuff for some reason. All right, we'll come back to that. Ribbon. So those are all my alarms. All right, ribbon's not looking so hot. All right, I just got a big old list here. Let's go. So yeah, credit cards are getting whacked. Trump trying to cap their gains, their interest rates. And that was my first reaction also. Does he have the authority to do this? You know, I mean, there's usury laws, so they can't violate the law, but that's the legislative branch. Trump is the executive branch. You know, I was wondering that too. What are his powers? To, I mean, he surely can't make legislation, but he has to have the authority for an executive order. Let's we'll see how that plays out. But there are a lot of banks getting whacked here. Look at MasterCard, Visa, off. Citi and JP Morgan were down. They have earnings this week. I mean, I just don't know what to do with these, but yeah, these both have earnings, so I'm not doing anything. But a firm went up on that. XYZ, I like this pattern a lot. It's a buy setup after a breakout from a bottoming pattern. It's perfect. So that I like that over Friday's high. Start off with a put spread. PayPal actually still weak. I have a low alarm. Something's wrong with this stuff. I mean, look at daily, weekly, monthly. It's horrible. I'm going to set an alarm at 57.50. Because if it gives up this gap, then good. I think we'll short Friday's low. INSP, I forget what the news was, but maybe put spread UNH. Trump's messing with this sector, saying that he might veto the bill to extend healthcare. I went through the other ones, but this was the only one of interest. It's bullish. If it can negate now, I'm going to set an alarm at 3:45. It negates this gap down, and it's has room to go up 360, 365.
JR in the social media chats asking to look at ADP.
Okay. Let me pull that up. All right, sure. I don't like it at all. It is a 1, 2, 3, but it ran from the bottom to the top. You know, we want them out of consolidation, close to the 20 with a void. But it still has a void above. It's, you know, bullish, you know, weekly, monthly. So I would say, see if it can go sideways for another day or two, and then I would like it better. Back of my got an upgrade, and that's a big old gap. I mean, that's bullish. See, I mean, here, look, I know it's a monthly chart, but here's a 1, 2, 3 on a monthly. See, it's from consolidation, close to support. Yeah, I wish it had a bigger void, but Akamai looks great all time frames. Let's watch that on a pullback. Look at Sam's company, Lazy Boy. Let's say this one's a 1, 2, 3 also, JR. So see how this one's close to support in the 20. The problem with this one is you don't have a good void. this is if it had a better void, which means momentum moved down, then I would like that one. UAMI bottoming pattern, gapping up. What is going on with ANF today? I just saw that thing getting whacked. Um, I didn't look because I don't care, but I don't know. Well, that's a nasty, nasty gap for a big old company. The gapping down 20%. That's nasty. So I got that in the middle chart. Gulf Hotel is so JR. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 1, 2, 3 with an inside bar taking it out. But see how this one, the green bar was a closing breakout. So this is better than ADP. But yeah, you're right. That sector has been getting killed. You're totally correct. BTG, here's a little gold stock. Might play catch up. See what it does. Oscar Mike, bottoming pattern, took off though, no entry. There's another regional bank, Synchrony. They must, I guess, I'm assuming they do credit cards because that's nasty. I mean, gapping under all these bullish bars, that's damage. Where did I leave off? Walmart is investing more in drones that deliver things. No pattern. Uber had positive barons, but it looks lower. ALGT buying on the airline. Getting down, no pattern. SMX, bottoming pattern, had craziness. Went up to $500. I'll watch it. It's going to take a while to set up. And what's up with Baba today? That's a big old gap on Baba. And then whenever I see a big Chinese stock gap up, I immediately just pull up K-Web here. And so look at the ETF for the Chinese stocks. Look, that's an igniting gap on that. ITW alarm just went off. Yeah, that's a sloppy 1, 2, 3. SLDP bottoming pattern. My alarm went off, but I'll reset it. I did. My alarm went off. That spike right there set my alarm off. I reset it. FMC bottoming pattern. My alarm went off, but I don't know why. Let me reset it. Procter and Gamble alarm. We have a put spread open on this. That looks like my up alarm is going off, which is good. I'll just reset it. PayPal low alarm, I mentioned, a short idea. Yeah, PayPal would be a great 30-minute low. All right, Neo, let me get rid of this. Get rid of Neo, put PayPal here. Yeah, firms on my list. We talked about it. Well, spiders. Which one of these days? Spiders and Qs, 5-minute look identical, 5 and 15. And diamonds and IWM, wide range breakdown on the 5. Yeah, firms on my list, just has to settle down. QUBT low alarm. Shoot. That was a put spread we did on Friday. Just did a $1.50 wide. Well, that was a little breakout failure. All right. So I immediately look at the fangs. Nvidia is perking. Amazon's perking. Netflix. Alex, you're Iran. Yeah, not pretty. I didn't remember that tail. A man alarm, maybe 30-minute high. AVAH. It's a sell setup, deep retracement, so you don't expect a new low. 30-minute low. Start off with a day trade short. Neo. Damn it, what did I just do? Look at that. Look at that. I have no idea what I fat fingered. Look at my chart. I mean, unless I just changed it to a line chart. I'm just gonna X out of here. I don't feel like messing with it. Give me a second, open it back up. OSW is stopping out break even. No, okay, it's showing. Might have been a bad tick. Didn't. No, I had an early alarm. Never mind. Never mind. Yeah.
What did you do with RIVN, Dan? I moved my stop under the day's low. I pulled it from the gap.
Oh, I didn't do anything with it when I looked. CHRW, I'll set an alarm. Did it gap under it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, yeah, we move it to day's low, 1852. Firm came in hard and filled the gap, so I think I have that as a put spread. So let me check it. The H. Wow. Yeah, that's a gap and go. And I don't know how to get on board, Patrick, but that's rocking. Yeah, firm. Let's cancel. I have this as a put spread. Ooh, 5 minute low. So our 202. Archer. And Archer alarm, that'd be a 30-minute high. That's another bottoming pattern. Neo. Yeah, I gave it to him on a pullback, so we're in an outpost still. Zebra. Zebra's triggering. That looks great. Animal sector. Dollar Tree triggering. That was a directional lamp. That's good. Dollar Tree 129, 126. Whoa, the spreads are asinine on the options. 74 by 340. Cancel that. Incredible, crazy spreads right there. I have SIL as a put spread, but that's not going to get filled. That's silver. DHR should have triggered 232. Spreads again. Incredible. XYZ. All right, good. That'll be a clean hit if it triggers. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like a bet. Yeah, let's buy. Let's see. Pre-market high was $5. Let's buy over $5. Top last week's low. Check calls also. Spreads. 4.5 spreads are nuts. I'm a bad, so you got about a stop. Resi. Resi alarm. Little bottoming pattern. A rock alarm, military, and then another rock alarm just went off. Bottoming pattern. Bottoming pattern. Gibraltar. Not sure the reward to risk for a swing, but day trade, I like this. The spreads are nuts. 0 by 480. What is wrong with these market makers? That's a nice bottoming pattern. Got this little downside shakeout. I think I could go to 56. GLR 140, 160. What are you thinking, Neil? That's not jumping out at me. We actually were in it last week. We bought over the high of this bar, bull rectangle, and trailed out on Friday, but I don't see a setup now. WPC. Here's stop below. FCN alarm. The bat's triggering. Yeah, bat looks good. HAG alarm. Oh, that trigger. I'm really gave it up. Yuck. That's a nasty reversal. I'm a big gap. High bottoming pattern, but that has more resistance to the left. So I like that a bat better. Amber, eight. Aries, still nothing, but so 1, 2, 3, 4 now. HRW looks good. Let's buy a half lot over Friday. It is 170.82. IBC holding well. Northern Trust. And let's not do credit cards. Alta, that finally stopped out. But nice game. CMRE triggering. $3 on Alta. MRE looks great. Wow, nice comeback in Q Spiders. Yeah, we had IDXX also, but is that spready, Alex, you're saying? Let me check. Yeah, I'm gonna cancel it.